from him.
Is anybody out there? Hey, y'all. I don't think there is anybody out there. I'm streaming a little bit earlier today, which means I'm a little bit behind. So I'm just gonna put out some social media. Hey, AJ. And then I'll get on the stream. If you're wondering why I'm streaming early today, it's because I have a school hockey tournament to deal with. To go to later on. And it's at exactly the time that I would usually finish my stream. Oh, no, it's halfway through. So, running a bit late today. Okay, that's the social media stuff out the way. I don't need this. So what are we doing today? Right. Let me go and do this. So a while ago, let me just find it here. Building blocks. Yep. A couple of weeks ago, 17th of July, the core AI team released the AI buildings blocks post, or at least published the buildings blocks post. And in the buildings blocks post, they talk about the AI Client SDK and the Abilities API, and that's my phone beeping, and the MCP adapter, and the experiments plugin. And I have been experimenting with the MCP adapter code and the experiments plugin code for a while now already. So I feel fairly comfortable with how all that works. So today I'd like to dive into the AI Client SDK and just kind of understand what the plan is there. The code itself, I don't think actually does anything. The folks who are busy building on that, there is a GitHub repository that you can go and check out. But as far as I know, they're busy setting up sort of basic sort of foundational stuff at the moment. There is an issue for the initial MVP task breakdown. So what they're calling phase 1 of the development roadmap. So the foundational work is practically done. So there's enums, there's data transfer objects, interfaces, and then extender API interfaces. That's probably the next thing they're busy with. Then there's the main AI API entry points that will be worked on, and then there's tying it all together. Now, I do know that most of the folks from the core AI team will be at WordCamp US at the end of August. So there's a good chance that some of this might get done by the time we get to WordCamp US, or at WordCamp US or something like that. So it'll be cool to kind of see what comes out of all that. So keep an eye on this repo for that. However, so there's this blog post that talks about all of this. There was a plugin. So Felix is the sort of main driver behind this PHP AI SDK. And he released something a little while ago. Let me just find Felix on GitHub here. Called the AI Services plugin. And I had a brief chat with Felix in in Slack. And I basically said to him, would it be correct to assume that the PHP AI Client SDK will be inspired by the AI Services plugin? And he essentially said that's completely right. Today, anyone can create plugins like Filter AI. That's another thing that existed. They will either need to declare AI services as a dependency or have AI features of the plugin enabled conditionally. What the PHP AI Client SDK will change is primarily that plugins will be able to directly bundle the SDK. No more plugin dependency need. So that makes sense. There will be additional SDKs, though, to bridge the gap between the PHP AI Client SDK and WordPress. And so the whole goal of the PHP Client SDK is to make it WordPress agnostic. It should work with any PHP project. So kind of similar to the requests API, I think. I think it's the requests API. Where's the requests library? Let me just see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. So this was a requests library for HTTP requests, basically, and it was merged into core, but it could be used in any PHP context. You could install this into your standard PHP project or Laravel project if you wanted to. Not that you would, because Laravel ships with Guzzle, I think it is. But it was built to be used, but kind of aimed at eventually being merged into WordPress. So this is kind of similar to what we're talking about with this PHP AI SDK. So my goal today is to install the AI Services plugin and focus primarily on the PHP aspect of it. There is a documentation site where Felix breaks down some code examples. So this is kind of how you could use this code, and maybe try and build something with this today. I don't know what I'm going to get right today. I just want to kind of understand what's coming, what we can do with it. My understanding of it is that this will be something that exists eventually, will be something that plugin developers can implement to implement AI functionality within their plugins. So for example, if you want to build a chatbot plugin, you would use this SDK to be able to connect to your LLM of choice. And you could just focus on the chatbot user interface and whichever LLM you decide to use or however you decide to implement that. So unlike MCP, which is kind of giving an external tool like Cursor or Claude Desktop or whatever context from a WordPress site, this is working with AI inside of WordPress. So your users would have access to AI functionality inside of WordPress. It's kind of similar to the chatbot demo that shipped with the Feature API plugin in a way, but using sort of core PHP and AI API functionality. I don't quite know yet, and I'm interested to see how this might work with abilities and all of that and connecting out. I mean, essentially the demo client will have some kind of this code built in. So essentially you could probably at some point take the demo application and replace all the custom AI API stuff with the PHP AI client, for example. So I'm rambling here, but that's kind of the idea. So that's the goal for today. Before I do that, though, I need to go and fetch my lunch because I'm streaming earlier. My lunch is just finished toasting, so I might be munching on my food while I'm streaming today. I'll try and do that off camera. So give me 1 second. I feel like I'm very high on the camera today, but that should be okay. All right. Let's have a look at how all this fits together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my default WordPress site, which I can't because I actually broke it the other day. So I might have to create a new WordPress site. So that might not be a bad idea. Let's open up Studio. I'm going to delete this site. I'm going to also delete this AI Press site. And let's just create, it wants me to. And let's just create a blank site for the purposes of this. So I'll just call it, yeah, my WordPress site. That's fine. I'm going to leave it as default. And then I'm going to need to install the AI services plugin. So that's nicely, oh, okay, it's in the repo, so that's great. Looks like I'm going to need my API keys. So let me go and get that off screen so you all can't steal it. I'm going to use my Anthropic API key. I think I have one somewhere. Okay, this site seems to be running, so let's open up WP admin. Oh. So there we go. Okay, let's go and install the AI services plugin. Okay, let's go AI services. Coming up in. Okay, so let's go and download the plugin. Probably hasn't been installed that many times, so it's not that popular. So let's go and upload it. Okay, So welcome to AI services. You're just moments away from exploring, integrated. Okay, so let's go and configure. All right, so we've got API keys, all the different options. You have to appreciate Felix for having a delete plugin data upon installation option in the bottom of the plugin settings. Very cool, Felix. So I'm going to pop in my Anthropic key here, which I have off screen. So there it is. And I'm going to keep it. I've got another screen I've open. I can show you a peek of it. I've got another screen open just with my usage. I've got about $4.25 on my API usage balance. I'm going to just want to keep an eye on how much this costs to do what we're about to do, just for interest's sake. So that's all good. So we'll save that. So with that in place, obviously the plugin doesn't do anything yet. It just enables AI services. So now I'm going to need to build a plugin to actually use this. So what I think could be cool is if I could give something like Copilot, which I'm going to do here. So let's open up this site. And let's go to where I have these sites. So it's Studio, my WordPress website. There we go. And I should have Copilot installed and enabled. There it is over there. I have a open source maintainers license for Copilot, so this will be free. I'm interested to see. It doesn't look like this version of Copilot has the new ChatGPT 5.0. In case you missed it, let's go off on a little bit of a tangent. I want to see something. There was a GPT 5 was released yesterday. Yeah, 19 hours ago. Let's see if Visual Studio Code has it. Maybe we'll do it in VS Code. So let's open up that same site. Studio, this website, open. Okay, let's see. There's Copilot. How do I change the models? I don't know why this is coming up, so I'm going to disable that. Let's just go. Here we go. Claude. Okay, it's in my Claude desktop config. It's got to be the weirdest chat message ever. We're going to just how do you block somebody? No idea. Anyway, I don't have this server configured. It's interesting. VS Code seems to be picking up my Claude desktop config, which was unexpected. I don't know when it started doing that. Anyway, I find the MCP stuff VS Code to be confusing sometimes. Anyway, okay, let's see if we can. Yes, GPT-5 preview. We can in VS Code. Okay. Do I want to go that route, or do I want to go in Copilot and PHP Storm? Let's do GPT-5 preview in VS Code. Why not? So let's close down PHP Storm. Okay. So let's go here to agent mode. Let me move my head out of the way because we're going to be working mostly in agent mode today. There we go. So now you can see what I'm asking the agent to do. And then I want to say I want to build a plugin that uses the AI services functionality. So let's Okay, so there's the documentation. So let's give this thing some context. So let's say, let's add some folders, instructions. You can't add a URL. Okay, let's see if we can give it the documentation. Accessing AI services in PHP. Okay, so let's say, where were we? Read through the accessing AI services in PHP documentation to prepare. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's say first, let me actually do this. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build. Do I want a block or do I want something in the settings? It's got to go somewhere. I wonder if I can build like a little chat block that you can add to a page and it can talk to you. Let's try that. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to say cdwp content plugins. And I'm going to say npx at WordPress, create block at latest, and let's call it AI services demo. And I think it's namespace. I can't remember. Let's create block. My block dash namespace equals my namespace. Yeah, okay. Namespace equals, I'm just going to call it Jonathan Passenger. Okay, so that will create a quick block. While it's doing that, you can say now I'm wondering if it would be useful. I need it to have, suppose I don't need it to have access to. So let's go into the plugins. Let's go into AI services demo. There we go. Okay, so now while that's doing that, we can say read through the accessing HTTP window to prepare to develop the AI services demo plugin. Create want to create like a summary markdown. Create a summary.md file inside the AI services demo plugin directory, which summarizes how to use AI services in PHP using the AI services plugin. Okay. So let's give it that page and let's see if it can do something with that. Let's see what I can do. Enable access, learn more, enable, yes. Don't know what's going to happen. Let's let it roll. I'm going to go off and grab a bite to eat while we do it. I'm going to figure out how to ban this chat person. chats don't come up here. It's weird. No. So I don't get chat history in here. It's painful. Anyway. Okay. So this is doing its thing. It's creating a summary for us. Okay. Hopefully that's all right. Okay. So that's the summary. Then what we can do is we can add the summary. Oh, the summary is already added as context. So that's great. I'm going to say keep, but it doesn't seem to let me. I'm not sure why. It's working. Okay. Now it's updating the summary with linting and stuff. All right, whatever. Okay, so that's fine. Let's keep that. All right. So now I want to focus on the AI Services demo plugin. I'm GitHub Copilot. Well done. It's too funny. Okay, so now let's create a new window. It's got the summary. Now let's say review the block plugin code in the AI demo plugin to prepare for development. Do not make any updates yet. Hopefully it doesn't do that. Copilot is very good at going off and doing its own thing. Oh, it's reading node modules. Could take a while. Okay, so it's giving me a whole bunch of stuff here. Fine, whatever, block registration, da da da. Okay. Server-side AI plan to move to a dynamic block or add custom wrestling points, editor, data flow. Okay, let's see if we can give it a one shot and see what it builds with a one shot. So let's say update the plugin to so that the block renders a chat-like interface when added to a post or page. It should be AI service agnostic so that it uses the AI service. So that uses the AI service API key configured by the user. Okay. It will use the AI service. Use the AI service provider configured by the site owner in the AI services settings to interact with site visitors. Okay, so update the plugin so the block renders a chat-like interface to site visitors. When added to a poster page, it will use the AI service provider configured by the site owner in the AI services settings to interact with site visitors. It should be AI service agnostic so that it uses the AI service API key configured by the user. I wonder if that's enough in the prompt. I could add things like, WordPress development and blah, blah, blah. Just say WordPress plugin. No. I want a chat-like interface, so I want a little text area. Maybe I should say that. I'm just going to leave it like that and just see what it comes up with. And then we can dig into the code and see what the code looks like. So let's send. Let's see what it does. Now it's reading the style CSS. Didn't it just get all that context? That's funny. This doesn't be doing much today. Just kind of sitting watching this thing working. It's funny when the ChatGPT 5 model was released yesterday, a lot of people said this. They said it was kind of lame in a way. Okay, it's doing something. It's doing something. It's doing something. It's created a render.php. This is vibe coding, folks. Sitting watching a chat agent think, quote unquote. This is slow. I haven't used VS Code with Copilot in a while now. I'm finding some of the changes to what they've done quite interesting. Like you used to be able to, maybe it was cursor, accept like every time it edited a file. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore, which is interesting. So yeah. Ah, I figured out how to block somebody on my chat. Yay! At least I was doing something useful while I was waiting for this agent to think. I'm still a noob when it comes to the Twitch life. I wish there was a way that I could replace, I don't know if you saw this in the chat earlier, but it says, Jonathan Bossinger is now live streaming no game. If anybody knows how to like remove that and just have the enhanced coding live stream, but let me know. I'm very, that's Stream Elements doing that. I probably need to go into Stream Elements and fix that. Interesting. There's so much that I probably should be doing when it comes to my stream that I just don't have the time for. But mostly these streams are meant for me, to be honest. So I can experiment with stuff. If you guys want to hang out, watch me fumble, that's cool. But I'm not trying to really build up a following on Twitch, if I'm honest. I have a job. I don't need to build up a following to earn money. I do have a job, fortunately. Plus, I'm not very good at this content creator stuff either. There's so much work that goes into it. Oh my word, this is taking forever. Guess the question is, would it have been this slow if I did it myself? Don't know. Oh, it's enqueuing data when it doesn't need to, you silly bot. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm keen to see if this even works. Look, what it has created a yeah, that's fine. Can run the bolt. So it's created this view.js. It didn't actually have to, it could have just updated these here. Didn't need to enqueue it. So I might manually remove that. I've got half a sandwich left. Gonna eat it. In case you're wondering, it's a toasted ham, cheese, and tomato sandwich. I basically have the same lunch every day. Okay, Stream Elements. But do I continue or do I keep? I don't know which one to do. Let's continue. Undefined? What's undefined? You lost the stream for a while. Oh no. Is it back? I'm guessing it's back. maybe my AI coding killed the stream. That would suck. Yeah, this thing's still working. Maybe it was the bites of my sandwich that I took. Did you see the sandwich even? Did you lose the stream before you saw the sandwich, or what was the story? I don't know why I don't mind chewing on stream, but I don't want you to see me taking a massive bite of stream. Okay. Stuff has happened. About 2 minutes. That's so weird. I'm glad it's back. I don't know why that happened. Okay, so the block has been made dynamic. Save.js returns null, perfect. Block updated, render. Render PHP outputs a chat container. Vue.js handles chat interactions. Style has some chat styling. And then REST API endpoints created. Which is kind of how you would build this, I guess. If I think about it, that's probably how I build it. Okay, so let's have a look at the code it's created so we can understand what it did well, what it didn't do well. I kind of already picked up 1 or 2 issues. So let's go to the AI Services demo plugin folder. Actually, how do I? There, close the editor. The chat can stay open. Okay, so this I know is all good. This probably. Oh, hang on. Ah, it's passing the REST URL. Okay, so that makes sense. That's probably why it's doing that. Okay, that's fine. I have no idea if that's needed. Looks good. Makes sense that it's doing it. So that's fine. Let's see something here. Yeah, it's just calling a localized script, so that's fine. I don't know if it needs to register the script. I don't actually know when it comes to the Vue.js if you include it in the block.json. I've never actually needed to localize the script, so this might be correct. So I don't know. I do prefer my action hook callback things to be at top of functions, but that's fine. I can stay there. Then it's registering the REST API routes. Okay, permissions are true. Not great. Maybe there's a check in the callback. We'll see. Handle chat. There's a message. There's an instance. Okay. Checks if the message is a string. This message is empty. It does that. If the AI services function exists, it'll show an error. It then tries to connect. Select any available services that supports text generation. Okay, cool. I guess that's what the services plugin does. Never used it, can't say. Felix might have a better idea. Would have been cool to have him on stream, but I'm doing it at a time that doesn't suit him. I think he's in the US right now. So maybe he'll leave some comments on the YouTube video. Or I can chat to him afterwards. I'll share the code with him and see what he thinks. He's probably the best person to review this code. Then it gets the available service. Gets the model. I do notice from the code that a lot of enums are being used, which is cool because it kind of allows you to do these kind of checks. So it checks if there's an available service, and if you probably find the enum for Anthropic was set to true somewhere because I enabled the API key, which is kind of cool. Then it calls the generate text method on that specific model. So in our case, it'll be Anthropic. And gets the contents and the text from the contents. Returns the response. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. So theoretically, that should all work. What else changed? The styling changed. This should all be good. I'm not going to go dive into that too much. Then there's all the chat stuff. Yeah, it's left the console login. That's not the end of the world. So there's some init chat stuff. That's what that's doing. Getting the classes. That appends a message. Sets it as busy. Adds an event lister on the form. Hey, Troy. Morning. Oh, what's that line in Truman Show? Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. I think it goes. I used to do that for my Thursday workshops. When I used to do online workshops, I used to greet people like that. So the form. Okay, so it's going to look for the AI chat form, which I guess is in the dynamic thing. We'll have a look at that in a second. Adds an event lister, waits for somebody to start typing, I guess. Uses fetch to call the REST API. This could have probably used API fetch, which is a WordPress package, but it's fine. I don't mind vanilla JavaScript. Passes the nonce, which is cool. In the header, interesting. I don't think you have to do that. I think you can just pass it as a, probably better in the header. And then appends the message. But theoretically, that should all work. So that's good. And then the render is the server-side rendering. Creates the instance and then renders the block. That's fine. What it didn't do, you notice, is it didn't do anything to the edit to actually update that, which is not the end of the world if it didn't. I mean, it's fine. It'd be nice. When I create blocks, if I have a block that's dynamic, I like to have something that renders in the edit, just so it looks like something. It doesn't have to do anything, but then at least it looks. Then the user can style it and work around it, update the page accordingly. But maybe we can do that in a future update. What I would like to do now is I would like to create a, let's call it what's the best way? Let's call it an plugin instructions. Create a plugin instructions file. Instructions, the best word? Plugin. Let's do it this way. Let's say update the summary.md file. Let's add that file. So that it includes all the information. Current plugin implementation of the AI services powered chat block. This is something, so I still haven't figured out the best. I haven't spent enough time figuring out the best way to do this across the different sort of coding editors. In Claude, you can add to the claude.md file. In Cursor, you've got cursor rules. In VS Code, you've got something else. I probably should add this to the VS Code option somewhere. But I like just adding it to like a big MD file, and then you can use that for context later on. So I'm just going to update that initial summary that we created, and hopefully it'll add the plugin information to it. And then we can test this puppy out and see what it actually does, which I'm quite excited to do. Last byte. Okay, so current plugin implementation. Dynamic block renders in the chat UI in the front end, talks to the server, which in this case configures the server. Got all the information. Now, what's cool about this is you could use something like this and something like WordPress MCP and something like the Abilities API, used to be called the Features API, to build, splits into a separate developer guide and user guide sections. Maybe something to do later. To build interfaces for your websites that allow your users to talk to your website and get information about your website. So, for example, if you were running a WooCommerce store, if WooCommerce supported abilities like fetching product information, you could have somebody chat or talk to your website and say, I am looking for products that meet the following criteria, or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of why all this stuff is exciting. You can start building way more interactive functionality using LLMs as the foundation, the way to create these interactive user interfaces, where users won't come to your site anymore and start browsing or just using a standard search. They'll actually be able to talk to something. And I can see a future where AI chatbots become way better, because you could load, for example, let's say you have a software service or a plugin or a theme or whatever. You could load all your documentation into your WordPress site somewhere as posts, as pages, as whatever, and then set up abilities that fetch data from those pages, whatever the case is, train an LLM on it, and then have users interact with your site that way. As opposed to just what happens currently, which is I have a question about how do I do this, and it just spits out a bunch of related search articles. Like, it could actually build a process where, for example, it actually says to the user, try this, try that, and you could feed that data back. Just some of the ideas where I can see this going in the future. So starting to get an idea of how all these things work together. Okay. I am going to go ahead and create a GitHub repository for this quickly, because I want to stick this somewhere. And I'm pretty sure every time I open up, oh man, all I'm thinking about is embedding a killer help desk on the dashboard of our empathize portfolio for docs. Exactly, exactly, Troy. That's kind of one of the reasons I do these streams, because I want folks to kind of start thinking about how all this stuff fits together and how they can use it. I finished a draft for the WordPress.com blog recently, which hopefully will be coming out soonish. It's actually scheduled for the end of the month, but I'm hoping it gets pumped up soon. Where the title of the blog is actually like, will AI replace developers? And I don't believe it will. I believe developers will still be needed, but what we start doing with AI and how it improves or affects our workflow will change, and what we can build with it will be interesting. So that's why all these experiments on a Friday are super, super interesting to me. Okay, let's go and do this. So let's go AI services demo. Just a little AI services demo plugin. It can be public, I don't care. Let's create it. Okay, I've been doing this for so many years that I'm just going to do it manually because it's just quicker. Just my request website, CWP, content, plugins, AI services demo, getting it. Let's just see here. Yeah, that one looks good. It's the one I always forget to branch minus in main. Git branch. Let's push. Just so I can get something happening, because I want to make sure I don't lose all of this. Okay, let's see if this plugin does what it does. I'm going to run npm run build one last time. That's on happiness. Let's see if the plugin is there. Okay, I'm going to dismiss that. So AI services demo, there it is. So I've added my Anthropic API key. So theoretically, it should only use Anthropic. This is an interesting one because I wonder with the PHP AI Client SDK, I wonder how it'll probably be you'll have to maybe build your own settings. That's an interesting one. I wonder how they'll tackle that. Anyway, okay, let's go back to plugins. Let's activate the demo. Let's check if there are any errors activating the demo. Let me just debugging. One of the things that I miss, and I don't know why it's not happening anymore, but somewhere along the line, it stops suggesting things. Copilot stops suggesting things in VS Code, and I'm not sure why. And I want to turn that back on again, but I don't know how. So if you know, let me know. It just stopped. It wasn't something I set as far as I know, but it just stopped working. Now I have to actually write my own code. I hate it. Stuff like that. It used to just suggest that for me because it was used to me doing that. It doesn't seem to do that anymore. Okay. Just do a quick refresh here. Close this Twitch tab. I don't need that anymore. Let's just check the log. It does not seem to be a debug log, which is great. So we should be good to go with this. So now let's add the services demo to a page. Let's go add page. Chatbot example. And we should be able to go AI services demo. Okay, so that I'd like to clean up. We can do that in a second. Let's just publish that. You see, now if I was clever, I'd have MCP publishing all of this for me. Troy says, I only have the issue of VS Code stopping the suggestions if I forget to open new chat windows. Okay. Look, I'll be honest, I have been fiddling with so many things lately that it's possible I've turned it off somewhere along the line. But look, the chatbot doesn't work. Fail. That works. But the rendering seems broken. There ain't no render happening there. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out why. I'd like to figure out what might be broken before I suggest it to the bot. Let's just see it's registering using the regular stuff. Let's check the flock.json. The render's there. Render.php. Okay, let's go and have a look in index. Edit, save, see save. I'm pretty sure that's the problem. I'm pretty sure if there's no if there's a dynamic block, you're supposed to not have a save. I have a feeling that's the problem. Let's just check something here. No, not that one. Doing a lot of work for updating documentation on the developer site for WordPress.com, so that's why that's there. Let's just check here. Tutorial. Next tutorial. Let's see here. So this already has a render. So if we go into the you see, if you have a dynamic block, I don't think you're supposed to have a save function. I think that's the problem. So I'm going to just do that manually myself. just because it's quicker. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment these things out. Rather. Actually, let's do it this way. It's easy to see what's what. Okay, that should fix this issue. I'm also going to run the development server because if I have to fix anything else, I might as well just leave it running. Okay, let's see. We're going to have to remove and let me just open up. Ooh, you know what? Last week? No, it wasn't last week. A couple of weeks ago, I was fiddling with Chrome and Google Gemini in the dev tools, and I said if I ever had to work on a plugin again, I'll keep testing it out. So let's do that today. Why don't we? I'm gonna have to last. Let's just do this. Settings, admin password, copy. Nope. Okay, let's enable developer tools. I still haven't memorized the Mac OS shortcut to open developer tools. I'm very lame that way. How do I? This thing's so low down. What's going on here? Oh, that's something else. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's fine. Okay, no issues in the console. That's great. Let's add AI services demo. Looks good. I think I got this zoomed in quite crazy, so let's zoom out. That's better. Let's view this. Still no chatbot. Oh man. Where is it? F12? Yeah, there we go. Still no render happening. Okay. Why would that be happening? Why? Oh, good grief, you stupid thing. It doesn't need to do this. It doesn't need to OB start and all that nonsense. It can just start generating the HTML because that's how the render works. You can literally just do that. This is one of the areas where the LLMs just get it totally wrong when it comes to block development. They don't understand how, when you create a block with create block, how everything fits together. It's funny. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to work now. Yay! We have a chatbot that I had to fix. Let's see if it works. Okay. Actually, before we do that, let's do this. So let's do that. And then let's go get commit. Actually, let's just go get status. Yeah. Commit -a. Fixing silly pilot bugs. I wonder if that null thing was right. That's actually I want to test that. I want to see what the problem was. I think it was the fix in the render. I think the null thing was okay. So let's just go and check that. So let's comment that back in there, and then in the save, that's already doing that. Okay, let's go npm run bold. I'm pretty sure the render was the issue, not the save. Let's go back into Chatbot. Let's delete that, save it. Let's refresh the page. Okay. AI services demo. That still seems to work fine. Yeah, that's what I thought. As long as you return null somewhere, it's fine. Taking the file out just means less files to worry about. So you could do that as a bit of a cleanup, but specifically it was the render.php issue. The output buffering and all of that. We didn't need that. I don't know why it thinks it needs to return. It loads the render.php as part of execution. Anyway, I guess the LLMs still don't know that. So let's go and npm run build, and then let's commit this, and let's say fixing silly co-pilot bugs with the render.php. So developers, your jobs are still safe. You still have to write some code. The AI will generate 95% of it, and you'll have to fix the bugs that it does, and then good to go. Okay. Okay. So we have a chatbot. Let's see if it works. So currently it's just doing messages. We're going to dive into a few other things in a second. So let's say, hello, what are you? And let's send. Sorry, something went wrong. Okay, what went wrong? Sorry, something went wrong. Okay, so there's definitely some bugs in this code. Let's see if there's anything in the debug log. Actually, I can check that with WP Debug, my little debugging application that I developed a while ago. So let's open up this site. Okay, nothing in the debug log, so it's fine. I just want to check something. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay. Don't need the index open. Probably don't need the edit open right now. I don't need the style sheet open. The view might be handy, the block.json. I don't need the save. I don't need. Okay. So there's no errors in the debug log. So something has gone wrong, wonky somewhere. I want to see somewhere there's something here. So here's where the messaging happens. So let's log the error to the console. Oh, there it gave me a suggestion. So that worked. Maybe it's better with JavaScript than PHP. I don't know. Okay, so that's there. Let's see if that gives us anything. So let's fire up the dev server. And let's test this puppy out. Okay. Hello? I wish it sent when I hit enter. Error fetching AI syntax unexpected token. It's not valid JSON. Let's see if Gemini can help us figure this out. The response received from the server was not valid JSON. The browser expected a JSON type, but instead read an HTML content. Okay, so it's returning HTML content. So let's go to the network requests and see if we can inspect the network request. Let's see what's what. Okay, so chat is working. Sending, it hasn't picked up the instance, which is interesting. Okay, it's returning an error, that's why. Well, returning error, it's causing an error, which is returning a HTML page, which is probably like an internal error of some kind. Let's see if we can get to the body of it. Wish there was a way to Oh, it's just hitting the. It seems to be hitting the. Looks like the REST API endpoint doesn't work. Oh, you know what that might be? That might be because I don't have permalinks enabled. Okay. That might be because I don't have permalinks enabled. So that's kind of interesting. Well, this is the interesting part because the code is obviously expecting that to be the REST API URL. Now, WordPress core, hey Billup, WordPress core can determine whether or not permalinks are enabled, and if they aren't, it'll actually use the old school version of the REST API URL, which is like some PHP file with, you know, query strings and all that. So I think that's the problem, but let's find out. So let's go to, and because I'm using Studio, Studio doesn't set a default permalink setting. This is one of my what's the word? Quote unquote complaints about Studio is Studio doesn't set a default permalink setting by default. Most other local environments and web hosts do. So if you're developing with Studio, you would assume one would be set, and it isn't. So, you know, it's a personal preference, but I would prefer Studio to actually be opinionated there and actually set maybe just the post name as the default permalink, so that things like the REST API can be, so we can use clean URLs. But hey, you know, it's one of the things of working on the internet. You get used to it. Permalinks and cache. Flush your cache and flush permalinks. Troy says, oh, that permalink issue got me hard a few months ago. The lab says I had the same issue with WPMV. Always have to flush permalinks. Yeah. That's maybe something MCP could do. You could like create an ability and hook it up to an MCP server, and then as soon as you're coding locally, like the first thing it does is just clear your permalinks, set your permalinks, clear cache. Where were we? Okay, let's save that. Let's go back to our chatbot. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's say hello. Something still went wrong. Okay. Now we're actually getting an error. So that's better. Let's see if there's anything in our debug. No debug entries yet. Error fetching API response, request failed. 403 forbidden. Interesting. Strict origin when cross origin. I wonder if it's a cause issue. Oh, REST cookie. Okay, REST cookie invalid nonce. Cookie check failed. Okay. So the authentication is a bit wonky. It does have a nonce. It might not be passing it correctly. So it's passing it this way, and for the life of me, I can't remember now how to do it. Let's see if there is actually a nonce there. So let's log that. I'm kind of annoyed that ChatGPT 5 didn't figure all this out by itself. No, I don't want. Let's just say empty nonce. Okay, let's try it again. Nonce, empty nonce. Okay, so the nonce is not even getting there. Window.ai services demo.nonce. That's not how it's being passed. It's sitting here in this just AI services demo probably. Or is it even? It should be. Let's see if I can find that object. It's going to be here somewhere. Find the script tag that loads it. I have a feeling the problem is that you can't localize the view script. That's what I have a feeling. So yeah, ChatGPT 5 needs some time to wake up. Yeah, I should think so, but it should still work. Let's do it this way. Let's just go. Let's see if it's actually in the this way. Ah, go away. I hate that. I know what I'm doing. Go away. I know why it's there, but I'm not that dumb. Okay, our service demo is not defined. Yeah, so it's not being passed. So I wonder if it'll just be easier to register another script that does all of this. So let's, this is gonna work. I'm gonna have to stick it somewhere else. Let's see if there's a way to do this. Let's see if the Google's can tell us how to localize a WordPress block view script loaded via block JSON. Never done this before. Oh, it might be the handle. Let's check the handle. Let's chart and passenger AI services demo view script. That's probably why. I feel like you don't need to register the script because it's already been registered, I think. So let's see what that does. See if I can figure out how to get this to work. So lock. Is it the AI services demo? Nope, still not there. So what I could just do is I could just enqueue a separate file. I mean, I could just create a separate plain JavaScript file that handles this. Let's do that for now. Let's old school this. What am I doing? Just going to stick a JS file in here. Call it next to JS. We do that. And then I'm going to do this the old way. Old school. Okay. WP register script. Okay. So let's not use the same handle. Doesn't need script.js. Oh, yes. Can you tell I haven't done this in a while? That probably does it. Let's see if that'll do it. Nope, still not there. Okay. I'm gonna put this on hold for now because I don't feel like debugging this issue. I'm literally just gonna enqueue my own thing, and then I'll come back to this at another stage. So WP register script, and let's just call it AI services script. Just call it AI services index, just for a better word. And source will be plugins URL, plugins URL. That just passes the path of the trees URL plugins path. It's been such a long time since I've built this kind of stuff. Is it plugin URL there or something? Plugin. Get the URL directory path for the file. Yeah. File. That's the one. I think. It's been too long since I've coded this stuff myself. Away. It's double quoted. I could just single quote this as well. Okay. Then it will be assets index.js. And then what's the next one? I think it's version number or something. Oh, deps. What is it? I think it's say REST API, I think. It loads after the REST API loads, I think. I'm not sure. It really has been a while. You can try and remove the view from the handler. Yeah, probably also part of the problem. Okay. Is it REST API? jQuery? I can't remember. Hang on, I just realized, what is this view asset? Is that even a thing? No. Yes, no? Oh, it is. Okay. Oh, it's just an empty array. Okay, so that is a thing. Anyway, I'm not gonna like, part of me wants to fix the code there, and part of me just wants to get this damn demo working. So I'll just leave it as empty tips. I think it needs to be after something else is loaded. I don't remember now. Anyway, and then it needs a version, I think it is. 0.0. And then I think it's true. Oh no, it's optional, default empty array, boolean. Yeah, true. It's been a while, folks. It really has been a while. Okay, and then you can localize the script. same handle. I'm not going to put that in a variable right now. Ah. Why is my undo's not working? Good grief. My code is so terrible, my undo doesn't work. There. Okay. And then op enqueue script. I think you just do the source and the handle and the rest. Such a long time. I'm just going to copy these over. I think this all should just work. Okay, let's comment all of this out. Okay, let's see if that did what it needed to do. You can also enqueue directly. Yeah, I tend to be a little bit verbose that way. I think that's going to work. Let's see. Shouldn't need to rebuild this because I'm just doing... There's been an error. Woo! At least I'm getting errors now. Unexpected variable asset. Errors in my code. Oh. That's why. What? Weird thing. Did I leave something somewhere it shouldn't be? Oh. Missing semicolons everywhere. Okay. So now let's see if we can get the service system object. Good grief. It's been a while. That's not being enqueued. Oh, hang on. What hook is it in? No, the enqueue scripts. Let's just go and read up about this. It's been too long. Enqueue. Okay, let's go and find localize. Localize will have a good example. Spell it properly. There we go. Okay. It's already been registered. Okay, so let's go down here. Here we go. So enqueue it. Oh, you can enqueue and then localize. Oh, okay. So I probably don't need register. I can enqueue and then localize. Okay. Okay, enqueue scripts, we'll call that, enqueue it. Just make sure this is right. No. Okay. Okay, let's check that out. No, it's not loading. Plugins. Hang on. WP content plugins AI service as index. So that is the file. But it's not logging that. I think this was WP API. Okay. Not found. Hmm. Something wrong in the code. Oh, I didn't put it in the right place. My fault. Where did I put it? Where is this thing? Oh no, it is there. No, it is there. I'm losing my mind. Okay. Yeah, our build is just below that, but it's definitely inside the root of the plugin, in assets, in index. Let's kind of have a look here. I wonder if, let's try something else here. Now that works. So it's WP content, themes, 2025 star. WP content, plugins, AI services demo, AI services demo, assets, index. It's weird. It should just work. This is some weird studio thing. I'm going to be so annoyed. Let me see if I can go to the plugins README. That works. It's probably an assets problem or something. I remember something about this somewhere along the line. Like, let me just try this. Like if you use assets some way, then it doesn't. I don't know, something. Try this. I remember having this problem somewhere. I don't know if it's a studio issue or something, but if you use assets or something, then it just doesn't find it. I think it might even be a WordPress thing. So that's why you have to use assets.js or assets CSS or something like that. I don't remember what causes it, but I remember having this somewhere along the line, and it annoyed me as much as it does now. But anyway, it's working. Okay, let's go back to that page. If you want to dive into, go and figure out why that is, I'd love to know. I remember having it before. I think it might be a WordPress thing, but I can't remember. Go and figure it out. I might even do it myself afterwards. Okay, let's see if, there we go. Index is loaded. Let's see if we've got the AI services demo now. Okay, it's got what it needs to get. Okay, great. We've got something working. Let's see if this other stuff works now. Okay. All right, we're still getting errors. At least the error is different now. You must provide, okay, we must provide a feature identifier as part of the model parameters, which only contains lowercase da. All right, cool. Enjoy meeting, man. Cheers. Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. You must provide a feature identifier as part of the model parameters. Okay, so let's just go, and what I want to do, I want to just copy this, and I want to the other code back, because I want to have that commented out properly. Sorry folks, I'm just non-zidding, I'm just undoing here because I want that original code back, because I want to be able to debug it later. There. Okay, and then I want this to conclude that, and then this can take it out. Okay. Alrighty, I need to wrap up soon because I need to leave in about 7 minutes. So I might not get anywhere with this thing today. Let's see if I can commit new tab. Get status. Okay. Let's go back here. So let's see if we can tell ChatGPT it's an idiot when trying to chat with the chat demo. The following error occurs. Hopefully this thing can figure itself out. In 5 minutes. Okay. It looks like it's changed this feature from that to that. No idea if that's right or wrong. I'm sure Felix would be able to tell me if he was around. Okay, let's see if that made a difference. Hey! It works! That's cool! That is awesome. So there we have it, folks. We created a small, tiny chatbot. It only took us almost an hour and 45 minutes. Well, it didn't take that long. But it works. And so this is basically what the PHP SDK will eventually do. It'll allow this kind of functionality in your WordPress plugins and themes. If you want to play with it, go and check out the AI Services plugin. I will, let me see if I can find it again. I actually got it over here somewhere. Hang on, got it over here. So if you want to check out how that all works and what it all is, here is the GitHub repository. Everything is linked through there. So this is kind of what Felix initially created. And this is what I use now to build this thing. I want to see very quickly, I've still got that Anthropic console off to the side here. I want to see how much of my $4.25 we used for those tests. Oh, I still have $4.25, so I haven't used much by the looks of it. I guess if we had more time, I could test this more. But I really do need to run. I need to get up to my kids' school. Let's see. what does it work? What model powers your chat interface? Let's see if it gives me some information. Oh, yeah, that actually works pretty well. Why why do WordPress plugins not load JavaScript files inside of an assets directory? Let's see if it can tell us the answer to that annoying problem. Let's see what it says. Ooh, it's thinking hard now, folks. It's thinking real hard. Here we go. There isn't a universal rule preventing WordPress plugins. So I've definitely experienced this related to local development environments. So I think it might be related to Playground and Studio and all of that. I think I had it on an Nginx environment at one point. I'm not sure. So it might just be a Studio issue. I will test on my other. If you got some time, test the plugin on your other environments and see if you can figure it out. Let me know. That's cool. I am super chuffed that this actually does work. Okay, let's very quickly commit this code as it is. I might hack on this a bit more next week, see what else we can do with it. Maybe see what other functionality the AI services plugin enables. I know you can create images, so maybe I'll do that next week. Let's just go hacking together the demo chat. So if you want to check out the code, it's on the GitHub repository. Git push origin. I think unless something more interesting comes up over the next week when I stream again next week, which will be the 15th, I should be able to stream next week. I might stream early again because I think I have something on in the afternoon, but I might just continue hacking on this services demo. But yes, the PHP AI client is essentially going to be the PHP parts of this AI services demo. I don't know how the settings are going to work, but it's going to enable this similar kind of functionality. So creating a new service, sending it a generate text or generate image or whatever. Troy says I can load a JS file that assets in my Docker build. Then it sounds like it might be a Studio issue. I'll retest, and if it is, I'll log it. Thanks, Troy. But yeah, check that out. Check out the code. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna come back. I might just come back to this next week if I have some time. But for now, I'm gonna call it a day, folks. Thank you for hanging out with me here today. Thank you, Troy and the LUP and AJ for your support while we figure all this out. I had a lot of fun with this one. And I'll see you all next week. Same time, probably. Definitely same place. Bye.